Today, I want to talk to the 30-year-olds. Yes, the 30-year-old ladies. Now, that doesn't mean the message isn't for the men as well. I think this message is for everyone, but I want to focus my energy into the 30-year-olds.
I am a 35-year-old single woman, and I know I'm not the only one that's in their mid-30s who's single, even though it does feel like it sometimes. I wanted to bring up some comments that I do receive. Like, for example, I was out last weekend and some guy asked me how old I was. I told him 35, and he said something like, well, don't you think it's time to start having babies? No?
Shock to no one that it turns out there are loads of girls that feel the same way I do about how hopeless it is being in your mid-30s and trying to date.
In less than 6 months, I'm going to be 36 years old. I'm going to be 36 and I'm not married. I don't have kids. I rent my apartment and I live in a city that I don't really connect with. I'm not going to say I haven't had major breakdowns about it because believe me, I have. But you know what? In this moment, and I don't know if it's just because the days are getting longer, but I'm okay with that because I get to figure out life on my terms.
And the reason for this, just after New Year's, I had a call from a 30-year-old, and this has been the third call in the last 2 weeks. 30-year-olds are now complaining that they're not finding a man. And she asked me, she said, Paul, I have quite a few friends that are in the same position that I'm in. I focused on my career right through my 20s. I wasn't dating. Seriously, I wasn't being ran through like you said in your videos, but I focused a lot on education and my career, and I just ignored dating. But now I want to find a good man. And she says, I'm having problems finding a man. And I said to her, you're not having problems finding a man. You're having problems finding a man that you want, isn't it? And she said, well, isn't that the same thing? I said, but yes, it's sort of, but you can solve the problem by looking at it a different way. And she said, oh, please, please. And that's why I called you. That's why I called you, because I feel that you can help me with this. And I said, first, you might not like what I have to tell you. Let's get into it. And that's what we're going to do right now. All right, guys, before we proceed, come on, subscribe. Hit the old subscription button. Hit the notification bell because, you know, like I said in the last 3 videos, this year I'm trying to hit the 250,000 subscriber mark. I need you guys to help me get there. We're a long ways off. I need to double my subscription. And the reason for this, the reason why I'm pushing this so hard is because I want to do this for you guys full time. I am halfway there. I'm not making enough money from this to be able to leave my old profession and do this full time. My family will suffer. I will suffer. So if you guys want me on this, helping you guys full time, you got to help me get to that point where I can put all of my energy right here. And I would love this because I really enjoy helping people. I really enjoy this YouTube space. So hit the old subscription button, turn on the notification bell, listen to more of my content. And of course, if you want to book a session, even better, log into askanolderman.com, book a session, you know, half an hour, 30 minutes, 1 hour. Let's have a chat. Let me know what your problems are. Let me be the father that you didn't have, the uncle, the grandfather, whatever. Let me help you guys with your problems so that you don't go into 2024 with the same headaches you had in 2023. Okay? And of course, if you have a quick question, get me over on Ask an Older Man on Instagram. But before we go on, I want to play this for you. I want to play one recommendation I got from one of my female callers. And I thought it was so sweet. It warmed my heart. Guys, got to listen. And then we'll proceed with the show today.
Happy New Year, Paul. I just wanted to drop a line and give you permission to use this as a testimonial on your channel. If it's helpful at all, just keep me anonymous, of course. Thank you. But this is a real customer, client of Ask an Older Man, Paul. I booked a session late last year, and I'm not saying that I was going to divorce my husband of nearly 2 decades overnight, but there were some things that were going on in our everyday dealings that were chipping away at my peace. And I happened to come across the Ask an Older Man channel around that time. I think it was like a divine intervention because Paul literally talked me off the ledge and prevented me from probably creating some more wreckage that was completely unnecessary. My husband had been doing some things that I didn't agree with. It wasn't, my emotion was reacting to it, and it wasn't that big of a deal. But I really wouldn't have had perspective with that had it not been for Paul pointing out the things that I was probably exaggerating and giving me proper perspective. So it saved us a ton of therapy that would have happened. It saved us time, just having wreckage, not having peace in the relationship. So whatever he's charging is priceless. It's worth it. It's going to save, how much is peace worth to you? It's a priceless asset. So I encourage anyone and everyone to check him out. He does not pander to women. He does not over cater to men. He is for relationships in any capacity, long-term or marriage. Thank you, Paul, once again for helping me on that day and the advice that you've given to continue to help me throughout my relationship moving forward. God bless. Happy New Year.
There you go. Gentlemen, now you understand. I said it last time in my last review video. We are getting through to women. We are getting through to women. This is the second message that I was able to share with you guys. There are tons more, believe me. But, of course, a lot of these women, they don't want to expose their voice or even their videos online. A lot of women don't want to get out there and make themselves public. The difference between the internet and real people who are trying hard to fix and hold on to their marriages is significant, guys. So you got to understand that even though you see a lot of women out there visually putting their whole life online, there are some good women who are going through the struggle but don't want to make the mistakes. They don't. They want to basically stay in their marriages. So they are reaching out. These women are reaching out and they're saying, okay, I need help. And that's what I'm encouraging all of you to do. Whenever you need help, reach out. Don't have to be me. Reach out to somebody else that's senior in your community. So it's always good to reach out to someone else. But for Christ's sake, please, my advice to you guys, if you're reaching out to anybody on marriage and relationships, please ask somebody that's been in a long-term relationship. Do not go to your single friends for advice. Do not go to women or men who are just fresh into marriages. They have a different mind's eye. Go to the old folks who've been in marriages, 30, 40 years. Who knows the struggles you got to go through to actually come out well on the other end. So, of course, if you want to book a session, askanolderman.com. All right, let's get into some of these videos that I'm going to show you are other 30-year-old women. And I picked these off of TikTok and other content creators who are highlighting these areas, right? And I can tell you, man, it's the same mindset most of these women have. So listen and learn, gentlemen and ladies. So this first video is of a woman in her 30s who's jumped off the ledge already.
So today I moved, and even though it may not look like I moved, because this is my pile, this is literally my pile that is gonna be for goodwill, but it just goes to show you that I had all this extra stuff that I clearly didn't need, but had it in here because I had a home and I had a house and I had the space for it. And I am going to a suite now, and a 2-bedroom suite, and so I was like, don't need this shit, it's all extra, even bags of clothes.
I'm going to pause it there for a second because I need you guys to understand a few things. Number one, that's her extra stuff. Now, the beautiful thing about having a spouse and living in a nice home is that you can have extra things. You can have extras because dual income, dual space, able to enjoy bigger and better spaces, more things. One of the advantages of having a partner in a home. Okay? Second, note, even though she didn't say it in this video, she needs a 2-bedroom suite. That means she has a child. She's left her marriage with a child. Okay? Otherwise, why would she rent a 2-bedroom suite? Who would get a 2-bedroom suite if you're alone? So she probably never got the house in the divorce, or they never had a house that they owned. So more than likely, they never had a home that they owned. They were probably renting prior, but obviously she had a bigger home to live in. Or she did not get the house in the divorce. She's not winning. Let's hear what else she has to say.
And it's kind of crazy. I'm moving, starting a new journey, which I'm excited for. I'm scared. I don't know why I'm scared. I think I'm just do fine, but I guess maybe because I'm alone, I'm scared. But a new beginning. I was in a 10-year marriage. It just went from good to bad, and I wasn't happy anymore. We just went our separate ways. We just didn't have a relationship, and I was in this relationship, I think, for convenience. And it was just easy being in a relationship because we were already married.
You can't make this shit up. I wasn't happy. I was in the relationship for convenience. This is the man she's supposedly to have married because she loved him and she committed to him. But she's leaving for what? She's not happy. And she was only in it for convenience. That's why we go into marriages. Because that's part of the whole package of marriage. It's convenient for both parties. Building together. So now she sees convenience as a bad thing. And she's telling women that convenience is a bad thing. You can't make... Oh, man. To me, this is just the most frustrating video to listen to. Seriously. I never got it the first time I listened to that. But the fact that she felt that the marriage was convenient to her. This poor man who is in the relationship with her... Oh, man. Let's just finish it up. But... ladies, do you now understand why men do not want to get married to modern women in the West? Can you now understand this?
But today is a new beginning. And I just want to share my journey, and I'm hoping people will share their journey with me. If you've left a relationship, I mean, it's not easy. It is not fucking easy.
I can always put my left thumb on a bloody chopping block and tell you she cheated in the relationship. You hear that? It's not easy. That's not a woman that was hurt by a man. That is a woman that did some mischievous shit and left her marriage, or the man kicked her out and she got nothing. That's what happened. Gentlemen, I know I'm pushing marriages and I'm trying to get you guys to find a good woman to get married to. And yes, when I listen to shit like this, I can understand why you guys push back at me and saying, why the hell are you trying to encourage us to get involved with marriages when this is out there? But I got to default back to my previous statement early on. There are some good women out there that still want to get married. And I feel that we're slowly starting to turn things around, where some young women are starting to see that these crazy ass broads in their late 30s and 40s, 50s and 60s are doing something extremely wrong. And they don't want to be like that, especially if they see their mothers going through this crap. So there are good women out there. If you can't find them in your town, go to the next city. If you can't find them in the next city, then you know what to do. Grab that passport, my friends. You got conservative women all over the world. Pick a spot. Chile, Mexico, Guatemala, Peru. Those are the ones closest to you, Central America, where women respect men and respect marriages, understand the importance of it. Otherwise, hit the Asian market. Philippines, Thailand, China, Japan. Otherwise, hit the African market. Stay out of the African cities, because the women over there are just as crazy in the African cities. I'm getting a lot of feedback from African men. They're dealing with the same problem that's happening in the West. Same thing in India. The city girls in India, do not play with those women. You'll get burned, just like Western women. Okay, let's move on to the next video.
A world where more and more men are single because women do not want to date them is a world that's very dangerous for women, which is why I worry about retaliation in reaction to the rise of single men. We actually have data from this year that shows young women are way less interested in dating than young men are. And we have data to show that more women than men are single because they simply cannot find someone they are interested in dating. 38%.
She's speaking very fast, and you can get confused because I know this exact study. It was announced on CNN. I've studied it quite extensively. Yes, more women, young women, are having relationships and having sex more than men. Why? Because all the women are having sex with the top 10 to 20% of men. The bottom 80 to 90% of men, they are dry. But just because these women are having sex, we know that 90% of the women cannot be married by the 10% of men, or the 80% marry the 20% of top men. These top men have the pick of their litter. That's why we got men like Nick Cannon, men like Elon Musk, who have multiple baby mothers, multiple. We have the Pookies and the Ray Rays, the men who have swagger, who have looks. I saw a video last week. This guy had 18 baby mothers. Think about that shit. A ratio of 1 to 18. 18 baby mothers. So, yes, the stats are skewed heavily in favor of the woman having sex. It's not relationships. I'm sorry. Got to get that shit right, because this idea that women are having relationships, it's just a euphemism of, yeah, all of them are sharing the same man. And that's why they say, oh, all men are shit. No, all the top men that are digging your guts out, and he has Shirley, Jane, and Josephine and every single other woman around, you're pissed off because he hasn't picked you. That's the difference. So let's get the stats in order so that we can understand what's actually going on. And yes, a sexually frustrated man is a dangerous man. But most men aren't being dangerous. You know why? Because he got OnlyFans. That's it. He got OnlyFans. He's out there rubbing one out. And he can easily buy it these days. Easily buy it. Because sex is cheap.
38% of single American women say the main reason they're not dating is they can't find someone that meets their expectations, compared to only 23% of men say the same thing. College-educated women are the group most likely to say they are single because they can't find someone that meets their expectation, 45%. And I can hear the men in my comments now saying, see, it's women's fault. They have too high of expectation, and that's why everyone is single and lonely.
Oh, she just brushed over that like that's not an issue. That is the issue. She trying to downplay it by saying it. Oh, that's what you guys are going to say? That is the problem. Unrealistic standards set forth by every freaking TV show that's out there. Oh, you have Real Housewives of this. You got Real Housewife of New York. You have Real Housewife of every single city in the bloody US, in Canada, of Singapore. We just got Dubai Bling. We just have a show now called Dubai Bling over here, where it's literally just highlighting the rich of the rich and how the wives are just complaining and oh this, oh my this and my It's literally chewing gum for the brain of women who think that is the lifestyle that they deserve. And if they have their education, they deserve even more. That's why college-educated women cannot find a man in her bracket or higher, because most men aren't going to college, because college is geared towards women. So all of these stats that she's throwing out is correct, but how she interpreting them, that's the problem. That's where I have a problem with. Let's hear what other stats she can spout off in a record period of time.
But let me remind you that women have always entered into marriages with the expectation that it is going to materially improve their lives.
There we go. She said that so eloquently. We've always entered into the marriage with the expectation of it financially or materialistically improving their lives. Oh, really? What about equality? I don't hear anything about equality right now. Oh, 50-50. I don't hear anything about that. It's amazing when it comes to 50-50 and it's not in the woman's favor, they're not interested in that shit. Our lives need to be improved when we get married. It blows my mind. But this is affecting the 30-year-old market.
We needed husbands for financial security. We needed them for bank accounts, for credit cards, to have a house to live in. And now women are doing better than men. We are more educated. We are stable on our own.
I hate when people bring up these stats and it's based on some ancient shit way back in the 60s and 70s. Oh, women needed men for credit cards. But, oh, now we don't need men for that. Look how long ago that was. Come on. Everybody complains about, oh, how it used to be and now the reason why we're here is to our advantage. You know what? Let me just play it.
We are more educated. We are stable on our own. And women who are independent and self-sustaining do not need to get married. When you don't financially need a husband or a partner, you can say, I'm not going to get a partner until I find one that's emotionally supportive, emotionally intelligent, doesn't need me to be his therapist and his mom, doesn't need me to do all the childcare, all the housework. And men will tell you, they do in my comments every single day, that these expectations are just simply too much.
Amazing. I don't know what kind of men these women expect. You need an emotionally present man. You know what she's basically saying? I need a man that could come home, put on that apron, clean the house, wash the dishes, do all the housework, provide everything for me, because he has to make more money than me, number one, and he has to come home and clean up all the shit around the house as well. He has to do everything, because that's what she's basically saying. Number one, you know that we need a man that make more than us. Isn't that what she said? Yes. But that man must also come home and be emotionally available, sit and listen to her whining about all the stuff that she's done for the day. And then get up, cook, clean, and do all of those things, because that's her definition of being emotionally available. That's the expectation of today's modern man. After he goes out and slay for her, then he must be emotionally available for her as well. Wow.
I fear for escalating retaliation that this will cause interpersonally between men and women, and also in legislative and policy decisions, like the push to get rid of no-fault divorce, in the rolling back of reproductive rights, and with things like student debt and college affordability. They're not going to make college more affordable when more women going to college results in higher expectations of the men that want to date us. So yeah, that's why I worry about retaliation of men who cannot make it worth it for women to want to date and marry them.
Wow. No-fault divorce. Women's get out of jail free card. And I'm going to get out of jail and I'm going to take the house. I'm take the car. I'm going to take the kids. And you get shit all. Because I'm not happy. Like the previous video I just showed you. I can cheat. You can walk in and see me getting pounded by a guy in the bedroom. And that is no fault of mine. I get everything because there is a no-fault divorce. Make that make sense to a man. So ladies, do you understand why men are not interested in getting married? You understand why you're still single at 30? Because if you didn't find a man when you were in your prime, and we're between ages 21 to 25, that's your prime. Once you come out of that prime age group, then you're looking at serious issues with finding a man that you want in your age group. So let me explain how this works. When you were in your 20s, the guy that was in your 20s, you didn't want him because he had not developed enough resources. So the older men, you're 24, he's 35. That man who has resources, you were dating him. And all of these men in their 30s, they were going after you like fly on doo-doo. Fly me. Pick me, I want you. And you were like, oh my God, no, I'm too hot. I'm still young, I need to have some more fun. And you would ride that one and you'd ride this one. You'd fly off to Dubai, you would fly off here. You would get at the finest restaurants. You were all over. The meantime, you had your career and you had your fun. And you're just enjoying it. And you thought it would never end. And all of a sudden, 29, 30 comes. And now, those guys who are in their late 50s, so now those guys that wanted you originally, they've already found their pick of the litter. They're now settled got their families in check. But you're left going, okay, I'm in my 30s, I'm ready now, I've had my fun. All of those guys that you came up with that were in their 20s when you were at your peak, they're now in their 30s. They're now starting to get their own. And now you're looking at him and going, oh, wow. Oh, my God, Josh, look at what you have accomplished. That's amazing. Oh, can you call me? Oh, you're looking on Facebook. You're checking him out. Oh, you're looking on Instagram. Oh, you see that he's kayaking. Oh, you see that he took a trip this way. Oh, you see that he's been promoted because you're checking out LinkedIn. His LinkedIn profile now shows some serious titles behind his name. Oh, I better call him up because I know he used to like me when I was in my 20s. Hey, Josh. Hi, how's it going? Oh, hey. Yeah, who's this? Oh, this is Alex. Remember when I was, you remember me back when in college? Oh, you remember me back then? Yeah, so what's up? Oh, just checking in with you. Just thought I'd say hi. I saw your photo and your promotion on LinkedIn. Amazing. Okay, thanks. Cool. You know why he's not interested in you? Because he is now going after the 23, 24, 25-year-olds. You're messed up. You didn't come up with him. He's not interested in you anymore. So what happens? You're going, oh my God. So now you're trying to run back to the older men. The older men now, they've already moved on. They've beaten you up, spat you out, not interested anymore. Your only choices at this point is that you got to go even older. No longer 30s and 40s. So you got the only three categories of men in those categories are married, divorced, because women have left them and taking a shitload of their assets. So they're bitter, they're jaded, they're not interested in getting involved with a long-term relationship. They're not interested. They will pound you, they will dig out your guts, but they're not interested in getting married. And then you got the guys that literally never got married and they're not interested in getting married. Because a lot of men have gone through that MGTOW, men going their own way. They're not interested in getting married. Never have, never will. They've developed their resources. They got 3 or 4 or 5 companies going because they don't have to focus on any kids, etc. I know a lot of these guys. And they say, nah, I get a temporary one whenever I want a woman. I will get my sex whenever I need it. I'll move on. I'm not interested in any Western woman. And then you have the 4th category, which you won't see. Those are the men that says, hey, I got my passport. I have my family in the Philippines. I got my family in Tijuana. I got my family in Puerto Rico, wherever outside the country. And they're commuting back and forth, making US dollars and spending it and keeping their house in other countries. So the pool runs dry very quickly once you hit your 30s, my friends. And that's what I need to warn you about. And that's where a lot of women are. You're feeling that pressure now.
Europe, where 2,500 people were shown photos of people between the ages of 18 and 80. And they were asked to guess their age. When they did that, there was this group of people that everyone guessed to be 10 years younger than their actual age. And they're like, what is the correlation? And they're scratching their head and they're trying to figure it out. And it turns out that the correlation was these were the people having intimacy 3 times a week or more. You look 10 years younger than your cohorts if you're having regular intimate connection. That alone is enough for me to want to have a lot of because I want to look 10 years younger. But the interesting thing about it is that it also reboots your nervous system. It also sends out an endocrine cascade of neurotransmitters and feel-good hormones. It generates tons of oxytocin. All of these things point to having great will make you live longer.
Interesting. Now, I just love some of the comments from this. Lies a lot. Porn stars look ancient after 40. Right. So you would think, okay, if they're having sex, they should look even younger. They should look like 12-year-olds, right? But here's the difference in what she said versus what this person does not understand. There's a distinct difference between sex and intimacy. You missed that word. Everybody was looking at the sex. Intimacy. That means having intimate sex with someone you actually care about. Not just getting your guts pounded out by some random person, 3 or 4 times a day. That's not intimate. That's just an act. And so the same thing applies when you have massive amounts of sex with different people. It's not intimate. Guys, listen, there is a big advantage of having someone else in your life. That's why I played this video at the end. But you guys got to understand that finding a partner is vital for your survival, long-term health, mental and physical health as well. So we all strive to have a companion in our life. How do we solve the 30-year-old issue? Is that you have to find someone who is in your category. For some women, this sounds like, oh, I must settle. If you want to put it like that, go right ahead. Either way, reality is a bitch. The reason you can't find a man in your 30s right now is because whatever you're doing is not working for you. Is it? The answer is no. That means that you haven't found your level. Find your damn level. It might be you might be looking at a 50-year-old man who's willing to say, hey, I got a 30-year-old young woman. I can work with her. Or it might be Billy, who's making the same amount of money or less than you. Might be Peter. Hey, he don't have a six-pack. He got a little dad bod, little beer belly, but he got a really steady job. He wants kids. He's a good man, good hard-working guy, and he has great family values. It might be him. That's your level. But for some reason, all you women, oh, he has to make 6 figures, and he has to have a six-pack, and he has to be 6 feet tall or more, and 6-inch long or more. That's not your level, my dear. Call it what you want. I gotta settle. No, you have to compromise. Use that word instead. Okay, guys, that's it. I think I've done enough here. I'm gonna do another video on 30-year-olds and relationships later on in another episode coming up. But I don't want to make this one too long. But ladies, you just have to understand, if you want results, you got to change what you're doing right now. So guys, thank you so much for listening to this point. Subscribe, get me over on askanolderman.com, book a chat, and I will see you guys in the next video. And remember, whenever in doubt, always, always ask an older man. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.